It's a new month, so that means it's time for
Budget Bombs. Powerful commander cards for under $1.
I thought I was going to say that. I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. There's new videos every single day. If you want to support us, the best way to do it is patreon.com. You can go there and give us money directly from your pocket. And if you do, you're helping out the channel every single day for the rest of your life.
Yep, that's true, yeah. So every single dollar you give us helps us forever. Think about that. That's crazy. If you want to support us indirectly, you can use our TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Go there and buy the cards you are going to buy anyway. And as long as you start with our affiliate link in the description, the Nitpicking Nerds are getting a kickback.
Sponsored by Moxfield. Middle of the video ad. Not going to be able to guess where it is. You can try, but you suck at it, and you're never going to get it. And happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today.
All right, let's hop into the video. This is
Budget
Bombs. Powerful commander cards for $100, as BZ always says. And honestly, that's what the video is. We're going to tell you some awesome cards that you can get for 99 cents or less.
Yes, the first one being Consuming Aberration. 25 cents. It mills opponents until they hit lands whenever you cast a spell. And it's also gigantic. It's going to be like a one-hit kill.
Yes, you want to care about something a little more than just having one big beater. It will be a giant beater, but if you have ways to sneak this thing through or ways to like take advantage of its power otherwise, this card is really strong in those situations.
Yeah, it's like an ninjutsu card, or it's like an unblockable card, or if you're just milling them, obviously this is amazing. Captain Ingathrod loves this card also.
Yeah, this card can absolutely one-shot someone. All you have to do is get it through, because the number is going to easily get up to 40, which is the starting life total in Commander. Just give it unblockable with something like with another card that's on this list that I won't spoil right now.
Trample.
Or give it trample. Do any of those things, get this thing through, and it's going to kill people.
I'll settle for lifelink. We'll also settle for Spine Rock Null, which is a 25-cent hideaway land. Its condition to cast a spell for free by paying a red and tapping it is deal 7 damage to one opponent, or have an opponent dealt 7 damage. So someone else can do it, or you can do it as long as you have this untapped.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't even got to necessarily do it, and eventually, over the course of the game, it'll just happen. You can leave this up, pass. If people planning on attacking, you can just be like, all right, go ahead. I'll just get this for free. You don't have to announce that you're leaving it up either, because people just forget it's there. It's not like your job as a hideaway land user is to go, I'm holding up Spine Rock, Noel.
Watch out. Don't deal 7. It's like, no, I'll just take it.
Yeah, just take it when it comes along. It's also just a land. Yeah, it's a tap land, so you want to minimize your tap lands, but on a budget for starters.
Yeah, we're building budget decks here. This is a budget card.
It's extremely good on a budget. It also it scales up a little bit into like the mid power decks.
Yeah, there's some decks that want it, especially if your commander has 7 power. Then it's even easier to do it. Azuri's Predation is a board wipe in green. Not really. It's 31 cents, and you make a 4/4, and then you fight everything.
Yeah, exactly. So anything with 4 toughness or less on the battlefield is absolutely gone. This thing works great in tokens decks where you can like double up the tokens, and then those tokens don't fight the new ones, but they still enter the battlefield. It's a really weird interaction. Azuri's Predation is just overall very good, as it just absolutely clears the board of all the small things. And anything 3 toughness or less leaves you with a 4/4 afterward, which is incredible.
Yeah, Wombo combo with Haste, Wombo combo with Elemental Bond or Garrick's Uprising. You just completely go off. You get all the triggers for them. And the card as I read it was terrible. I said make a 4/4 and then fight everything. That 4/4 would be bad. You're making a million 4/4s.
Yeah, maybe if it fights everything at once, but even that would be really weird. This 4/4 deals it damage equals its power to every creature on the battlefield.
It's like Slaying Mantis.
It'd be a really strange card. But yeah, regardless, this card is good because it is a board wipe in green, because green doesn't really get to do that.
White does though, but this one is Ondu Inversion, which means it takes the slot of a land. It's 94 cents, and you destroy all non-land permanents for 8 mana, which is steep. But guess what? It's mostly a land.
Yeah, like you said, this is an absolutely ridiculously steep cost for a board wipe, but it doesn't matter because most of the time it's just a tap land on your first turn, second turn when you don't need the mana, or late in the game to make a land drop you wouldn't have made otherwise. And then in the late game, this would be a plains. You draw plains. Oh, that's no good. Oh, I do Ondu Inversion instead. I'll wipe the whole entire board with my land.
I don't know how many times we have to say that MDFCs are great. They are. Every single one of them is better than you think it is. Ondu Inversion happens to be very playable. Especially for me, I like to play around 2 board wipes or 3, but sometimes you want a little bit more. You're kind of like, oh, I wish I could play 2.5 board wipes or 3.5. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Ondu Inversion is so good. And like you said, there's only like 2, maybe 3 MDFCs we don't play on a regular basis?
Yeah, not even all the creature ones are bad.
It's
like only 2 of them are bad.
Yeah, exactly, because they're lands. They're lands that do other stuff.
Yeah, Voice of Many is a creature. It's the cheapest card on here. It's 9 cents. You draw a card when it enters for each opponent you control more creatures than, We're green. We're creature heavy, obviously. That's going to be everybody, especially even if the board's empty. This is the only creature in play. That's everybody. Draw 3.
Another great thing about this is its creature type. This thing is an elf. So any elf deck can just slot this in. Elves are already known for going extremely wide. They often have the most creatures on the battlefield. Let's add another elf that has synergy with the rest of my deck and draws me cards.
If you're a creature deck, please do not play Harmonize. This destroys Harmonize in terms of which one I would ever play first.
Yeah, exactly. How often in a deck where you're designed to go wide do you not have the most creatures? Not very often.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take having, oh my God, sometimes I only draw 1 card, but you're always drawing some cards.
Yeah, you will always get at least 1 or 2 cards back with this. Mystic Confluence is 74 cents. This card is very good. Holy crap. Mystic Confluence is a counter spell, it's card draw, and it's a bounce spell. It does all the things.
Mix and match.
Mix and match as you see fit. This card really just kind of does it all. It's overcosted at every single. If you pick the same thing 3 times a night, it's overcosted. But that doesn't matter because the fact is, it's versatile. You choose what you need for the situation. You get to hold up your 5-mana counterspell, and you're like, dang, holding up 5 mana for a counterspell, that's a lot. But guess what? When nothing happens on the board, you can go, okay, bounce the 1 threat, draw 2 cards.
Or draw 3 cards. And I think even the draw 3 for 5 mana, it's not even like overcosted. Because a lot of the like X spells and like the Brain Geysers and the Sphinx's Revs, it's about at par for that.
It's on par for that, but I would say I was thinking more of like Concentrate and
Concentrate and like Jace's Ingenuity. I don't want to play, but I will play when there's a million options attached.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much more to this card, just like there's so much more to Maraschiello.com, the best deck building website
Ever.
out there. Period. Semicolon exclamation point.
Question mark?
Oh no question mark. BZ.
Ellipses?
That is the one thing that we know. This is for sure the best deck building website out there.
Why?
Well, because, guess what? The Nitpicking Nerds, all of our decks are on there. That's one of the coolest things. There are a ton of creators who are putting their decks in there. Rachel Weeks, Dylan from Play to Win, Cam from Play to Win. They're both on there. See their decks. See all these awesome CDH decks. See all these awesome casual decks. And you know where you can see them all? Moxfield.com.
I don't know why you haven't gone yet, but this is your wake-up call.
Follow us.
Get it together.
Follow the Nitpicking Nerds on Moxfield to see all of our awesome decks. We are the most followed account, and we want to continue that trend.
Yes, next, we never knew this card was budget. It's actually Dockside Chef. We actually knew it was budget. It's 21 cents. Black mana for a 1/2, and you can sack creatures to draw cards. This is like when your deck needs another way to draw cards, and you're creature heavy, and you're like aristocrat-y, and you don't really know what to put in because you already have Midnight Reaper and Horror Specs. This is what it is. This is what you put in.
I think this is a card that doesn't really make it into more tomb decks. But when
budget is perfect.
It's so good on a budget. It's perfect because 21 cents. You're not spending a lot to get this in your deck. It is a good rate. It's a good sack outlet. It's coming down for just 1 mana, and then there's the mini synergies. If for some reason you have the synergies with this being an enchantment,
why not? It is for no reason.
Because it is for no reason. Exactly. This is just a human that cooks.
I don't get it.
Why is
he got like there's ghost chopsticks, but that's not the creature. The creature is the chef. He's just a dude.
Yes, and the real question, as we ask with Dockside Chef every time, are the chopsticks dead?
Did they come back?
Do the ghosts manifest chopsticks?
Do the ghosts manifest as chopsticks?
Are they normal ghosts? And when they pick up regular chopsticks, do they turn to ghost chopsticks?
They're chopstick presenting.
Seriously,
ghosts.
we really just need the answers to these questions.
Wizards, send Mark Rosewater over. Have him answer that. We'll be very happy.
We need the canonical answers to why there are ghost chopsticks.
Or did you just make it up and you didn't care? Rogue's Passage is next. This is almost like a budget staple, honestly. It's 34 cents. It takes up a land slot, and you can make a creature unblockable. In the budget games, that is so much more relevant across the board than these higher power games or games where combos are possible.
Yeah, exactly. And this card is good off a budget in a lot of situations. There are a ton of decks that just want to make sure they can push through their commander for those final points of damage. It's really, really just sticky on the board, and you're like, oh no, I'm dead to one more shot from their commander. I can put up as much defense as I want. It doesn't matter. They have the Rogue's Passage. They're getting through on me no matter what.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll find yourself dead on board to a Rogue's Passage and you don't have the answer.
Yeah, I've been there many a times. BC's old Skullbriar deck had a Rogue's Passage in it, and I would always find myself going, I really wish I had answered that Rogue's Passage because I'm dead.
I can play blockers, but it doesn't matter. There is a YouTube account, and the name of that YouTube account is Wayfarer's Bauble, and you can sacrifice that YouTube account to get a basic land and put it on play tapped. It's 40 cents to buy that YouTube account, and they're going to comment on this video and be like, hey, that's me.
Wayfarer's Bauble is good, period. I mean, any non-green deck, this is one of the best ways to be ramping. It also has an awesome curve when it's in your opening hand. Going 1, 2, Now you're on 4 mana on turn 3. That's helping you keep up with those really splashy, fast green decks.
That puts you right up there with Rampant Growth because you're not spending the first mana.
Yeah, it really is true. This card is just strong, and it is an absolute budget staple. And honestly, I play it in all of. If I'm not playing fast mana, I'm playing this in all my non-green decks.
Yeah, people are always like, oh, we can't keep up because our signets die. It's like, well, then diversify. Play some Wayfarer's Bubbles, play some Sad Robots, and then you won't lose all of your mana when it comes to Vandalblast time.
There's ways to search up lands in your non-green decks. There really are. Next one is another tokens card.
Ooh.
It's called the Coppercoats, 91 cents, and this thing is an army in a can. I am super happy with it all the time. It also makes humans. So if you have human synergies, this can make a lot of humans all at once.
It's like the number of tokens it makes is not tied to how much mana you spend. It's tied to where you are in the game or where your opponents are at. So a lot of times if you have an overrun and the board's clogged, you win.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just, like you said, the board is completely clogged. You just go, okay, make 20 tokens in a turn, untap, win with any overrun. Or you just have something already on the board. You have Cathar's Crusade in this. All right, I'll cast this. All of my creatures come in as like 10/10s.
Oh, if it's 20, they come in as 21s.
Yeah, they do come as
400 something power.
Exactly. And the numbers, and those numbers are possible because this card really is that good. Like you said, it's not tied to mana you spend. There can be one player who's going wider than you the whole game. They have like 30 creatures. They're a tokens deck as well.
They're about to kill you next turn.
Doesn't matter. I can now make 30 blockers for myself or 30 attackers for myself before my turn.
Yeah, it turns out this is better than like most of the ways to make tokens. And if they're playing sorcery speed stuff, you're going to win the game because of this card.
It's one of the best ways to make tokens at instant speed. It really is good, especially like all the X spells are really good because you can put all your mana into them. Those are great. This might be like
you don't even have to put all your mana in.
Exactly. This is right next to it, like in like greatness, like Secure the Waste, Crescendo, Grand Crescendo, and then like this. Those three are like three of the best.
It's only bad on an empty board. That's the only time it's bad.
But even then, you're still totally fine because it's not like your deck just runs out of cards all the time and you're like, oh no, I can never use this. Wait a turn or two. The board doesn't stay empty the whole game.
Or hold it up and then make, 5 or 6, depending on what they play. Next is a common from New Capenna who is burning someone's face off in the artwork. That's right, obviously we're talking about Witty Roastmaster, 32 cents. This is just a creature version of Impact Tremors.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's really good because it is a creature. It's a creature for creature-based decks. And obviously, you already want to have a high creature count when you're playing something like Impact Tremors. Of course, a creature version will be good. Now, I understand there is the bonus to diversifying that Impact Tremors also cost 1 less. There is advantages to that as well. But Witty Roastmaster is really good and really budget because Impact Tremors, I believe, is over $1.
Yeah, it is. If I can make either all or none of my effects share the type of the most prominent thing in my deck, I would make them all share it. It doesn't matter at some point. If every creature in your deck does everything you want to do and you don't need any non-creatures, your deck's juiced to the max. That's why Perforos and Witty Roastmaster is so much not better, but they're so much more synergistic with the high creature count decks, especially when you're like putting creatures into play at the same time, reanimating creatures at the same time. Impact Tremors doesn't do any of that if it's dead.
Exactly. And you also think of like Beast Whisper. It's like, okay, all of a sudden my Impact Tremors effect, it draws me a card off of Beast Whisper. Mm-hmm. It just, all those little tiny synergies are, like you said, juiced to the max when you are playing max creature count.
You're going to be burning your opponent's faces off.
Yes, that's what he's doing. That's the point. Next is Titania's Command, 53 cents. This card is from which set?
Brothers War.
It is from Brothers War. And this card is real good. It's got 4 modes. You get to choose 2. Exile a graveyard, gain some life. You can go search up 2 lands. You can make 2 2/2s, and you can put some counters on your whole team.
Yeah, it actually has 3 modes. One of them is find Field of the Dead. You're never going to make bears. But you can. It's there.
It's there.
When you sometimes don't have Field of the Dead.
Yeah, exactly. You get to go. Getting 2 lands is the mode that is most prominent on this card. You really want to do it. You really want to get whatever your best 2 lands out of your deck. Like BZ said, Field of the Dead, Gaia's Cradle. There's so many great lands to get out of your deck. And if you're on a budget, you can even go get Rogue's Passage.
Yeah, this is a great budget card. I'm so surprised it's under $1. I mean, the set was juiced. There's a lot of like money and the rares kind of fall down in price with these standard sets, but I'll take it. This card's great.
It's also a pure commander card, and it's only a casual commander card because obviously it has no homes in the CDH type.
It's not competitive. It's just strictly like Nitpicking Nerds Field of the Dead budget level.
Yeah, and we talk about how you always want that incidental graveyard hate. This is that.
I think maybe one of my next budget builds might be a deck that plays Field of the Dead, which would be half of the budget.
The budget Field of the Dead.
Yeah, but $50 budget. but half of it's fielded dead.
That is going to be rough.
85 ways to tutor it.
Next, we have the indestructible artifact lands that enter tapped. It's the
Bridges.
The bridge cycle,
Jeff
yes.
Bridges.
Yes, they're all 10 to 27 cents at the most. So
Yeah, well, that's nothing. They're cheap AF.
yes, and if you have artifact synergies in your deck, these are absolutely perfect because everything that counts artifacts, everything that cares about artifacts, whenever an artifact enters, these will trigger them in a land slot, and they're indestructible. Now, there is still a little bit of risk because things like Farewell will absolutely wipe them away, but it's worth the risk because of all the synergy you get.
Yes, they're pretty good, especially if you're like complaining and you're one of those people who doesn't like tap lands. You're probably in a budget deck playing some tap lands, like a Temple of Silence or whatever. Cut it out for black-white bridge, and you're going to have a little bit more synergy. Scry 1's not that great.
Yeah, exactly. All that matters is your artifact-centric, and then you're in. You're in for these lands. I play as many of them as I can get in my artifact decks. If I'm playing a 3-color one, I have all 3 from my deck guaranteed.
Yeah, you're just going to get nice little synergies, especially when you have artifact affinity for artifacts. These kind of do tap for mana when they come in, so they basically come in untapped.
Yes. Next is 3 artifacts that all have very similar effect. First, we have Prize Statue. When it enters or dies, you get a treasure. Servo Schematic. When it enters or dies, you get a servo. In Nimrite Schematic, when it enters or dies, you get a
Construct.
You get some sort of 1/1 token. If you have sacrifice synergies, these end up being incredible. As long as you can get them off the battlefield, you will get 3 permanents for 2 mana, which is just an incredibly good rate.
All of them are artifacts. So 3 artifact triggers, 3 permanent triggers, 3 dice triggers, 3 sacrifices. A lot of things are going on with these, and they don't even look that good, but they are all pretty sweet, and I'm fans of them outside of budget. But in budget, they're fantastic.
Yeah, I really think that the thing you have to look at that really just says that these cards are good is this is 3 permanents for 2 mana. That is just an incredible rate. Like token generators tend to do 2 mana for 2.
Yeah, like Gather the Townsfolk.
What about 1 extra? You added 1 extra, you make them artifacts, and now you're talking
and a permanent.
Yeah, now you're talking about an amazing card.
Yeah, and Prize Statue I like the best because it kind of like ramps you a little bit if you can go from 2 to 4 with it, and then just keep it there when you need it, and then it's 2 more permanents after that. Sick.
Also has extra synergy for the sacrifice decks. Your Corvold decks might not play Servo Schematic and Nimborite Schematic, but they will play Prize Statue.
Yeah, that's 3 sacrifices, 2 mana, 3 cards, just
Silly.
off the chain. The next card is colorless, and it's Artisan of Kozilek, 52 cents. It's the budget Annihilator card. It's your go-to Annihilation. It's Annihilator 2. You cast it, you reanimate a creature, so it's already a 2-for-1, and it's also a 10/9. It's just gigantic.
Yeah, and as soon as it attacks once, it destroys 2 more permanents. This thing is super annoying, and like you said, it is 9 mana, but you're always reanimating something that probably costs 5, 6, 7 mana. So what are you really spending on this card?
It's also a 9 mana 10/9 with Annihilator 2. It's kind of already undercosted.
It's super annoying. This card just gets in the way.
Haste is what you really want.
Oh.
And to follow up a board wipe with this, it's like, oh, there's nothing in play. There's no extra permanents. Here you go.
And you're probably presenting, what, 16, 17, 18 power, depending on what you reanimate?
Yeah,
this card is so good.
Destroys lands, closes out games at a budget environment. I love it. I forget Ulamog's Crusher, please.
This is way better than Ulamog's Crusher. It's not even close.
What is this? 1 more mana, like 2 more power, 1 more toughness, and a whole other card.
Yeah, exactly. Don't play Ulamog's Crusher. Definitely play Artisan of Kozilek. If you want to see some more budget bombs from last month,
Budget bomb.
check out this video right here. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.
Budget bomb.